next test of large sample test, test 4. It is the test of proportion or percentage. Proportion, that means percentage. It is a one sample test. It is one sample test, test of proportion. To get the better idea about this, let us take one small example. See question number 1 of the next exercise. The question is, in a certain city, 380 men out of 800 men were found to be smokers. So, obviously, it is a sample study because it is given that in a city, so obviously the population of city should be much higher than this data. So here what information we have, out of 800 men we found that 380 are having the habit of smoking. Discuss whether this information support the view that the majority of the men in city are smokers. So we want to check from this data majority of the men in the city are smoker or not. So here our claim before study our claim is like this: majority of the men in this particular city are smokers. And to know about that particular claim, we took a sample of 800 men and we found that out of that 800, 380 having a habit of smoking. So from this information, can we say that the claim is true? That is our question. So we want to verify whether it's true or not. So how to do that thing? So here there is no question for mean or standard deviation. So obviously the first test of Z test, second test and third test is not applicable for this particular data because we don't have mean standard deviation. It is the question of proportion. So what we would write here in step 1. Step 1. H naught. There is no significant difference between sample. Instead of mean, you have to use the word proportion. Sample proportion and population proportion. So we have to check for percentage here. Sample proportion or population proportion. Or you can write in another way the same thing. The sample has been drawn from the normal population, drawn from the normal population with, instead of word mean you have to use the word proportion. With proportion mu 0, instead of that you have to write p0, capital p0. Or in a symbol you can write like this: instead of mu equal to mu 0, that was the null hypothesis in test 1, here you have to write p equal to p0. Capital P equal to P0 is a constant number. And in H1 we have to write not equal to or greater than or less than. Any one of these three we have to write in H1. If we write this, then it is known as true tail test, this is right tail test, and this is left tail test. Depends on the given claim, we have to decide one out of these three as an alternative hypothesis. So that is end of step 1. Step 2, under H naught. Our formula of Z for first test was like this, but instead of mean, you have to use the word proportion. So small p minus capital P upon standard error of small p, where small p is a sample proportion. Sample proportion. The formula of that is m upon n. N is a sample size. Small n is a sample size. M is the number of person having that particular characteristics in that sample. Capital P, population proportion. And this is the standard error of proportion. Standard error of proportion. Now, formula for standard error of proportion is square root of capital P into capital Q upon N. Capital P into capital Q upon N. Here capital Q is nothing but 1 minus capital P. So Q equal to 1 minus P, and this is the formula square root of PQ upon N. This is we have to apply when capital N is unknown, or when sample is selected with replacement, means simple random sample with replacement is given in the question. So this is the formula we have to use when capital N is unknown or infinite, or simple random sampling is done with replacement. Sampling is done with replacement. If nothing is mentioned, then we have to consider as without replacement. And second formula is square root of PQ upon N into square root of capital N minus small n upon capital N minus 1. This is we have to apply when capital N is known, capital N is known, and sample is selected without replacement. If both the criteria are satisfied, then we have to use the second formula. If any one of these two criteria is satisfied, then we have to use the first formula. If nothing is mentioned about with replacement or without replacement, always we have to consider as without replacement. So by using the formula of standard error of P, we get this denominator part, and putting the value of small p and capital P in numerator, and we can calculate the value of Z. So we get calculated value of Z, that is denoted by ZCal. So ZCal is the calculated value of Z. And remaining three steps are same like as previous all test. Step 3, obviously level of significance, we have to take either 5% or 1%, depends. If nothing is given, you can take any one of these two. Normally we will take 5%. Step 4, that is the critical value. In that we have to find out value of Z from the table. So it is denoted by Z tab. And step 5, decision. And we know that how to take a decision. So these three steps are same like as previous test. So now if we have a given this type of information, question number 1, then how to find out the answer of this? So what information we have? In a certain city, 380 men out of 800 were found to be smokers. So sample study is of how many person? sample study is of 800%. So what is this 800? Any of you know what is 800? What is 800? What is this 800?
Small n.
Correct, small n. So small n is 800, and out of this 800 we found that 380 were smokers, so that is denoted by small n here, 380. So out of 800, 380 men were found to be smokers. So from that we get the value of small p. The formula is m upon n, means 380 divided by 800. Calculate. 380 divided by 800. So we get 0.475. So we know the value of small p. Now what should be the capital P? That is the most important question here. What is capital P? Any of you have any idea? What we want to verify, what we want to check here, what we want to check? We have to check whether this information support that the majority of the men in the city are smokers. And from this particular sentence, you will get the idea about capital P. Majority of the men in the city are smokers. So how can we say that majority of the men are smokers? What is the criteria for majority? What is the criteria for majority?
More than 50%.
More than 50%. So that is why you have to take capital N is 50%, means 0.5. So capital N is not clearly given in the question, but from the information we get the idea about capital P. So obviously Q is also 0.5. Now capital N is unknown, so standard error of small p. You can use the formula square root of capital P capital Q upon small n. So 0.5 into 0.5 divided by 800. So let us calculate 0.5 into 0.5 divided by 800, and let us take its square root. So we get 0.0177. 0.0177. So this is standard error of small p. And now step 1. In step 1, we have to set up two hypotheses. One is null hypothesis H0. We have to write there is no significant difference between sample mean and population mean, or the sample has been drawn from the normal population with mean with proportion 0.5. The sample has been drawn from the normal population with with proportion 0.5, that is H naught P equal to 0.5. So this is our null hypothesis, P equal to 0.5. So what we have to write in alternative hypothesis? If we write H naught P equal to 0.5, what we have to write alternative hypothesis according to the claim?
H1 is less than H naught.
No, we have to write either P less than 0.5, greater than 0.5, or not equal to 0.5. So which sign we have to write here? Greater than, less than, or not equal to?
P is greater than.
Correct, absolutely right. Greater than. Why greater than? Because if we write, see, if P equal to 0.5, if after the end of the last step, if we found that this one is correct, in that case, our conclusion is there is no majority because it is exactly 0.5. So there is no question for majority. So this indicate there is no majority, means majority of men are not smoker. That is in written in H naught here. So in H1 we have to write according to the claim, because this is the opposite of the claim. Because in claim it is given that majority are smoker, and if we write equal to, then it doesn't majority. So this indicate, if we write H naught P equal to 0.5, that indicate there is no majority. So here we have to write majority of the men are smokers, and because of that particular word majority, we have to write greater than here. Okay, this is right tail test. Step 2. Under H naught. Formula Z equal to small p minus capital P upon standard of small p. Put all values. Small p is what? 0.475 minus capital P is what? 0.5 upon 0.0177. So we get Z cal. Let us calculate this. 0.475 minus 0.5 divided by 0.0177. The answer is minus 1.41. Minus 1.41. So this is the answer, Z equal to 1.41. But it should be positive in according to the uh, procedure given in the book. But here we have to write the same, whatever the sign that we have to write here. If positive, then we have to write plus sign, negative, then minus sign. So that is the end of step 2. Step 3, alpha equal to 5%. Alpha equal to 5%. Step 4, at alpha equal to 5% and for right tail test, from the normal table, we get Z tab. Tell me the value of Z tab. One tail test 5%, one tail test 5%. Tell me the value.
1.645.
Perfect, 1.645. Now step 5. Here Z equal to, in middle, Z equal to 0, because it's right tail test. Let us say this is 1.645 right side. This area is the rejection area. This area is the acceptance area. My value of Z cal is minus 1.41. So it should be here, minus 1.41. And tell me, if Z cal is in acceptance area, what is our conclusion? H naught is not rejected. Loosely speaking, H naught is accepted. That is P equal to zero point 0.5. That is the no majority. Means the given claim is, that is the given claim is wrong. The given claim is not correct. That is our conclusion. So there is no majority. So data indicate yes, there is no majority, and it's in fact it is not majority. If it is majority, then it should be more than 400. But this is the way to verify. If it is more than 400, it doesn't mean that there is a majority, because it is a sample study. It is a sample study. So always there is some variation is there, but that variation, that is significant or not, that is what we want to verify here. Okay, let us do next question. Question number 2. What information we have? In a sample of 800 parts manufactured by a company, the number of defective parts was found to be 30. So out of 430 parts are defective, information is given about defective parts. The company, however, claimed that only 5% of product is defective. There is a claim of the company, only we produce only 5% of the product defective, not more than that, not less than that. Only 5% products are defective in our company. You can say like that, or better word is not more than 5%. Only 5% products are defective. That is the claim of the company. So test at 5% level of significant whether the company's claim is tenable. That means company's claim is acceptable or not. That is what we want to check. So how to do this one? Question number 2. In usual notation, what is this 400? What is this 400?
Small m.
400. Correct. Small n is 400. M equal to 30. So let us find out small t. 30 divided by 400. So we get 0.075. That is 7.5%. Let us verify 30 divided by 400. Yes, it is 0.075, means 7.5%. In our sample, we found that 7.5% products are defective. And what is the claim? Capital P, only 5%. That means 0.05. 5% is the claim for the entire lot. In entire lot, the company claims that in our entire lot only 5% are defective, but in our sample we found that 7.5% are defective. So this difference is due to our sampling method, due to our sampling fluctuation, or really the lot sorry, really the company produced more than 5%. That is what we want to verify. Okay, so let us find out first of all standard error of proportion. 0.05 into 0.95 divided by 400. Let us do this calculation. 0.05 into 0.95 divided by 400 and its root. So 0.01089 or 109. 0.0109. 0.0109. Okay. Now step 1. H naught. What we have to write here in H naught? The claim is what? Only 5% are defective. Only 5% are defective. So 5% of the product produced by the company, 5% of the product are produced by the company are defective. That is H naught, capital P 0.05. And what we write in H1? What we have to write in H1? Not equal to, greater than, less than what?
Greater than.
Why greater than?
बिकॉज सर अगर डिफेक्टिव कम होगा तो भी अच्छी बात है ना, बट ज्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए लेकिन डिफेक्टिव.
Okay, now listen, we have to check here whether the claim is true or not. We don't want to check whether it's good thing or bad thing. First of all, don't think on the point of view of company only. If you want to think, then think for the competitive company also. So here we are not going to judge whether this thing is good or bad. What we want to do here, we have to check whether the claim is true or not. Means if less than 5% are defective, then it is good thing for the company, but we can say that company is not good for the claim, because they may be reduce their defective product, they may be reduced in a claim they have produced less than 5% defective. So it is not good sign for the company. Means what if this is the claim of the manager, then that manager is not correct. Why? Because actually company produced less than 5% and he said that only 5%. If he said like that maximum 5% are defective, in that case you are right. If the claim is for maximum or at, at the most 5% defective, if the word is there at the most, here it is given that only, it doesn't mean that it is less than. His claim is 5%, only 5% are defective. Actually maybe less than 5% is also possible, but it is not the claim. The claim is only for 5%. So if the claim is, I can understand your argument very well. If we write here greater than, then we can say that here if we write this indicate h naught p equal to 0.05, that indicate the claim is correct, means whatever the claim is given in the question, that is true. So here we have to write claim is not true. If claim is not true, when if we write greater than, then we can say that yes, claim is not true. And if we write less than, then also we can say that claim is not true. Why? Because claim is for 5%, not more than 5%, or not less than, not at the most, not at least. It's not like that. So in both the case we have to reject the claim. That is why here we have write not equal to, that is two-tailed test. Once again listen, if we write h naught p equal to 0.05, what does indicate the claim is correct? Because the claim is what, about 5%. If we write greater than, that indicate claim is not correct because it is more than 5%. And if we write less than, then also we can say that claim is not correct. Reason? Because in claim it is given that 5% are defective, and if it's less than 5%, then the claim is not correct. Claim is not correct. Whether it's good thing or bad thing, that's not depend, that depends on the situation. Like in previous question, see, smoking is good or not. So maybe you say that smoking is not good. Maybe you say that smoking is not good, but it is good for the company who's producing cigarette. That is good for that particular company for profit point of view. So maybe smoking is not good in normal case, but it is good for the company who is producing that particular product, because if more smokers are there, then company will get more profit. So from which point of view you are saying that smoking is not good or good? It depends on the totally our subjective matter, our own perspectives. So don't think like that. Just here we have to check, our objective is whether the claim is true or not to check if defective units produce less than it's good, or if it is produced more than it's good. No, don't think like that. I think, is it
Okay,
clear
sir.
to everybody? Okay,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Yeah. Okay, now let us continue. Step 2 under H naught. Z equal to small p minus capital P upon standard error of small p. So 0 point, our capital P is 0 point, sorry, small p is 0.075 minus 0.05 upon standard error, that is 0.0109. So let us do this calculation. 0.075 minus 0.05 divided by 0.0109. The answer is 2.29. That is positive value. So 2.29, that is the answer for ZCal. And remaining three steps are same. Alpha 5% if nothing is mentioned. Z tab for two-tailed test it is 1.96, but it should be plus or minus. And last step here, because of two-tailed test we have to write here minus 1.96, here we have to write plus 1.96. This is rejection area, this one is also rejection area, and 2.29 is in this particular area. So therefore H0 is rejected. That is H1 is accepted. H1 is accepted. H1 is accepted. That is P is not 0.05. That is claim is accepted or rejected. That is given claim is accepted or rejected.
Rejected.
Yes, given claim is rejected. Yes, given claim is rejected. So that is the way to solve the question. Remaining four questions you can solve by yourself. If you find any difficulty, we will discuss in our next lecture. Uh, Next test, that is test 5. Test 5. It is test of proportion but for two samples. Test of proportions for two samples, two population or two samples. So let us take one small example to get the better idea about this type of situation. See question number 2 here. In a certain district A, 450% are regular consumer of tea out of 1000%. So in city A or district A, out of 1000, we found that 450 having the habit of tea drinking. Now another district B, 400 persons are regular consumer of tea out of a sample of 800. So in a second district out of 800, we found that 400 are having the habit of tea drinking. Here thousand out of 1000, 450. So we can say that 45%. 45% having the habit of tea drinking. Here out of 800, 400, that means 50%. Now the question is, does this fact reveal a significant difference between two districts as far as tea drinking habit is concerned? So this is the sample data, and from this sample we have to think about the population. So can we say that this difference, whatever the difference is here, that is negligible or significant? That is what we want to check in this particular question. So it is the question of proportion. There is no mean standard deviation, but it is not for one sample. There are two districts here, and we took two samples, one of 1000 and another one of 800. So here we have to use this test for proportion. Step 1, null hypothesis. What we would write here? There is no significant difference between two population proportion, between two population proportion, or you can write H naught, the samples have been drawn from the normal population with same proportion, or you can write in symbol only this P1 equal to P2. What is P1? Proportion of first population, P2 proportion of second population, and H1 you can write P1 not equal to P2 or greater than or less than. That means two tail test, right tail test or left tail test. It depends on the given situation, given data. Step 2, under H naught. The formula is small p1 minus small p2 upon standard error of small p1 minus small p2. How to calculate p1? It is m1 upon n1, and p2 is m2 upon n2. So this is p1 p2. And standard error, so there is a formula. Standard error formula is like capital P1 capital Q1 upon N1 plus capital P2 capital Q2 upon N2. But obviously capital P1 and capital P2 are unknown. So in that place we have to use the estimated value. Estimated value. So you can write capital P capital Q, but because it's estimated you can write like this: capital P cap Q cap upon N1 plus P cap Q cap upon N2, because here P1 P2 are unknown, so we have to use the estimated value of P1 P2, and you can take P cap Q cap common, so you can write like this. So this is the formula. You have to write this formula, you have to learn this formula, this last one, P cap Q cap. In some of the book, instead of P cap they written only P, so they write only P. That is okay, that is a symbol only, but better symbol is P, P cap and Q cap. And what is the formula for this? The formula is very simple. It's a combined, it's a combined proportion, like combined mean. So maybe you are familiar with the formula of combined mean. Any of you know the formula of combined mean? Xc bar, combined mean, n1 x1 bar plus n2 x2 bar upon n1 plus n2. This is the formula of combined mean. So similarly this is also combined proportion, n1 p1 plus n2 p2 upon n1 plus n2. Or you can write this like m1 plus m2 upon n1 plus n2. Why? See, p1 is what? m1 upon n1. You can take n1 this side, so n1 p1 is nothing but what? M1. So either you, if m1 m2 are known, then use this formula, and q cap is nothing but 1 minus p cap. So by using this formula, you can calculate P cap, Q cap, N1 and N2 are known, given in the question. Calculate standard error of P1 minus P2 and substitute that value. We get calculated value of Z, that is ZCal. So ZCal is available from this step 2, and remaining 3 steps are same like as previous test. So let us complete that question number 2. According to this data, what is this 450 and 1000? What is 450 and 1000? Read the question carefully. In a certain district, a 450 persons are regular consumer of tea out of a sample of 1000 person. Tell me, what is 1000?
Small p.
1000 1000 is a sample.
And one.
Yeah,
And one.
and one is 1000. Then what is 450?
M1.
Correct. M1 is 450. So we get P1 equal to M1 upon N1. That means 450 divided by 1000. So we get 0.45. That means 45%. And N2, from the second sample of 800, we found that 400 are consumer of tea. So this is 800. M2 is 400. So P2 is M2 upon N2. 400 divided by 800, so we get 0.5. Okay, so now we know the value of P1 P2. Better to calculate, because capital P and capital Q is not given. Let us calculate P cap. Which formula we have to use? Because M1 and M2 are available, use this formula, simple formula, M1 plus M2, that is 450 plus 400 upon 1000 plus 800. So we get 850 here, and here we get 1800. So 850 divided by 1800. 850 divided by 1800, we get 0.472. 0.4722. So what is Q cap? 1 minus P cap. Subtract this from 1, we get 0.5278. So now P cap and Q cap are available. Find out standard error first of all. Standard error of P1 minus P2. Formula is root P cap Q cap in bracket 1 upon N1 plus 1 upon N2. P cap, that is 0.4722 into 0.5278 upon, sorry, into 1 upon N1 is 1000 and 1 upon N2 is 800. So let us calculate this. Now 1 upon 1000 plus 1 upon 800, that is if we take 80,000 LCM, so we get 1800. 1800 divided by 1000 divided by 800, that is the answer of this small bracket. Yes, this small bracket into 0.5278 into 0.5278 into 0.4722, and now take its square root. So we get 0.0237. 0.0237, that is the value of standard error, 0.0237. So standard error of P1 minus P2 is now available. Now step 1, what we have to write here in H naught, there is no significant difference in the proportion of tea drinker in district A and B, that is H naught capital P1 equal to capital P2. And see, in the question nothing is mentioned like greater than, more than, less than, so obviously not equal to. Reason, it is not given in the question like majority of the men in this city, or percentage of smokers in city A is more than B or less than B. If it is given like that, then we have to write uh, one tail test, otherwise two tail test. Step 2, under H naught. Step 2, under H naught, Z equal to small p1 minus small p2 upon standard error of small p1 minus small p2. Let us calculate. P1, that is here 0.45 minus 0.50 upon the value of standard error is 0.0237. 0.0237. So let us calculate this value. So 0.45 minus 0.5 divided by 0.0237, so we get minus 2.11. Minus 2.11. Here it is 2.23 is given. Let us check. Let us verify, is there any mistake or not. With actually difference is not that much big, but let us check it. Let us check it. So if we want to check the calculation, 1800 divided by 1000 divided by 800 into 0.53, or you can write 0.53 into 0.53 into 0.47, and now take its square root. So it is 0.0237. That is true. Now 0.45 minus. Okay, let us check this calculation. Uh, this is 850 divided by 1800, so we get 0.4722. So standard error of P1 minus P2, that is true, 0.0237, and we get ZCal is minus 2.11. Now step 3, alpha 5%. Next two steps are same like as previous test. Step 4, Z tab. Obviously for two tail test it is 1.96 plus or minus. And step 5, this is plus 1.96, here minus 1.96, here Z equal to 0. This one is rejection area, and my value of Z cal is minus 2.11. So that is H naught is rejected. That is H1 is accepted. That is P1 is not equal to P2. So we can say that there is a significant difference. Means the difference is not small. There is a significant difference in the proportion of tea drinker into city. That is the conclusion. So that is the way to solve this type of question. Try to find out the answer for remaining all questions of this exercise. If you find any difficulty, we will discuss first of all these difficulties in our next lecture, and then we will start next topic, that is small sample test. So this is enough for today. If you have any doubt, you can ask your doubt of today's lecture.